Role Model magazine. I'm the founder and publisher, and I'm here today at the Westerville Community Center. We're celebrating the beautiful diversity in Westerville.
This is an educational opportunity. It's a chance for us to look at a lot of different issues within our own community.
It will help us to see the American experience from a number of different perspectives, and that our perspective is not the only perspective. In the room adjacent to where the speakers are, we have several different nations that were represented.
So we had different tables set up for cultures from all over the world, and people were able to just share different aspects of their cultures and get to know each other.
Kids are here playing with some African drums. We also have storytelling that was taking place, so it just allows everybody to participate.
I think the people that were here were very engaged, and it was a nice, diverse crowd of people from different cultural backgrounds.
I've been going around to the booths and of course sampling the food, which is always fun, but also getting a little more information about each of the cultures. Some of it I knew, some of it I did not, and then learning how to say a greeting in some of the other languages that I didn't know.
We live in an area where, while we have a parochial city, we do have exposure in our schools of many different ethnicities and cultures.
We have about 1,200 ESL students in the district, and they represent 56 countries and 39 languages. I don't think most people, that if they aren't associated with the schools, realize how much diversity is really in our schools. I don't think they realize that. Unless you set foot in the school for some reason, have a student in the schools, I don't think you realize it.
I think it's wonderful that the kids embrace each other and they get to learn about each other's cultures and heritage. A lot of events I was involved with, and we always had sharing where the kids would share things about their heritage with each other.
All of the speakers just did an amazing job.
Listening to some of the speakers, hearing about the Challenge Day has also just given me an eye-opening experience about what Westerville really, the things that are happening in Westerville.
We had several of our high school students that participated in Challenge Day here in Westerville that came and shared how that experience changed their lives and opened their eyes to how they really relate to some of the other students that are around them that absent the Challenge Day experience, they probably never would have gotten to know.
I think definitely the point of Challenge Day is not just to get what you feel out there and for people to look at you and not even have to use words to verbally say it, but just look at you and go, I understand what you're saying and I'm here for you.
I'd heard Sophia before, but I'm always just enthralled with her story.
I think especially with Sofia Karpovich, I've seen her speak numerous times, and I'm very privileged to call her a friend, and I've seen her in other settings, but I've never heard her give her adult version of the talk until today.
Horrible days came, days of tortures, hunger and cold, days of constant anticipation of death. Every day must be the last.
There were parts of her story that really struck me today because she was much more descriptive of the violence that she had to witness and things that were done to her that I just hope nothing like that ever happens again.
I've also, with the district, been through some education on implicit bias, and so the bishop's talk on implicit bias really that's kind of what hit me the most, because we just don't want to acknowledge the fact that we really do have our own biases.
The impact of implicit bias is devastating, even though there is no intent. The impact has been demonstrated through scientific testing in these particular areas: race and ethnicity, gender, medical services, housing, education, employment, age, weight, religion. Want me to keep going? All of these areas have these kinds of implicit, unconscious biases.
What I saw out of every speaker is some of my issues that I think are huge are really insignificant. compared to the hardships other people face.
That's when the soldiers came to my village with the gun, firing the gun, killing people, burning the village. The village was set into fire. Every time when I look back into the village, that day, what I could see was smoke. What I could hear was sound of gun. What I could see was a fire. So it was a horrible situation. So I ended up leaving the village, try to go to the safe place. But where is the safe place? There was no safe place.
Now the amazing thing, if you listen to all those folks, everyone took that hardship as a challenge to become stronger. And a lot of times we face on race and culture, but it's so much bigger than that. It's gender-based, it's abilities-based, it's age-based. It's a lot of different things that we have to look at when we look at isms. Whether it's ageism or culturalism or racism, we need to be accepting of all those. And as we become more accepting, we're going to be a better society overall.